And welcome. I'm Anand Naidu, filling in for Riz Khan. Are months of political uncertainty over in Nigeria? Last week, the country's politicians voted to give full presidential powers to the country's vice president, Goodluck Jonathan. It was a move that came some 4 months after President Umaru Yar'Adua left the country for medical treatment in Saudi Arabia. But with acting President Jonathan at the helm, new questions arise. Is the appointment constitutional? What about the religious divide? Will it get wider? Jonathan is from the Christian south, Yar'Adua from the Muslim north. Adding to all that is the battle over oil riches. Rebel groups say the government is not keeping promises it made as part of a ceasefire agreement. On today's show, we ask what's ahead for Nigeria, and can acting President Goodluck Jonathan restore the people's confidence in the government? Remember, you can join our conversation with your questions and comments. You can send an SMS or email, and we also welcome your phone calls, of course, on the show. Joining me from Kingston, Jamaica is Nuhu Ribadu. He served as head of Nigeria's Economic and Financial Crimes Commission until 2007. A lawyer by training, he spent 18 years with the police force and is currently at the Center for Global Development. From Newton, Massachusetts, I'm joined by Musa Ibrahim, an attorney and human rights advocate from Nigeria. She is currently a visiting scholar at the Human Rights Program at Harvard's Law School. And here in Washington, Amira Woods is co-director of Foreign Policy in Focus at the Institute for Policy Studies. Welcome to all of you to the program.
Good to be with you.
Thank you.
Musa Ibrahim, let me start with you. Nigeria seems to be going through yet another period of political turmoil. As we reported, President Yar'Adua has been replaced by the Vice President, Goodluck Jonathan. Now, there are some in Nigeria who believe that this will end the political uncertainty and fill the leadership vacuum, but others, and there have been protest marches over this, others say that Yar'Adua's supporters will not go along with this. What do you think?
I believe that government cannot be in vacuum. What had happened in Nigeria so far had been a creation of vacuum. And when the Senate voted to give the acting president now, the former vice president, powers, I guess they acted right. They acted right from 3 dimensions. 1, to fill a vacuum. 2nd, to ensure that there is stability and peace in the country, which we all need. And 3rd, to give a specific direction as to what next. And I think there is a goodwill of the entire country. As you could see in the recent lot of visits from former head of state and servants, directors and ministers have given him cooperation. I believe that we need to move forward. We wish the president very good health. We look forward to having him back in the country. But government cannot exist in vacuum, and we need to just move on, and we have the will and the good power of the international community to also help us to move this process forward.
Mr. Ribadu, we've been talking about Goodluck Jonathan becoming the acting president of Nigeria, and do you think it's a good move?
Well, it's not about whether it's a good move or not. It's basically, there's no alternative to that. Jonathan Goodluck is the vice president of Nigeria. He was elected with Umaru Yar'Adua on the same ticket, the same platform, the same rights as vice president. And there is no any other person who could take over if anything happens to Umaru Yar'Adua. Umaru, when he fell sick, refused to respect the constitution of Nigeria, refused to go along with the demands of the people of Nigeria. He left without giving clear authority for the continuation of the administration according to the law. And the National Assembly, and I agree with them completely 100%, they have no alternative. The country could not just continue without leadership. It's not possible.
Well, you heard that. The crisis is over for the time being. Do you think that is the case?
It may be a bit premature to say that the crisis is over. You have seen demonstrations from senior figures like Wole Soyinka really asking for a more constitutional process to take hold. It may mean that the National Assembly has to take some additional action, but I think there needs to be clarity. What happens if Yar'Adua suddenly regains health and decides to return to the presidency? What is the constitutional order? I think these are some of the questions that still remain in terms of how the process has evolved over the past week.
What do you make of the fact that go ahead.
My sense is that the Senate were very clear as to the fact that if he returns to the country with a clear medical certification, that he is fit to continue as presidency, he will continue as president. But as it is now, is the crisis over? I'm not sure the crisis is over. But I think it's a phase that we have stepped forward into something. And that thing is a continuation of governance. And continuation of governance, whether the president is there or the vice president is acting as a president of the country. And this is what we need as a people. We need to unite, we need to move forward, and we need to ensure that justice and rule of law is entrenched in our body politics. And this is what is happening, and I believe that it's a step in the right direction.
Umaru, let me ask you this. Do you think that Goodluck Jonathan enjoys widespread legitimacy in the country? He is from the south, as we pointed out.
I think there is
from the north.
Tremendous support. I think the fact that for the first time it's someone from the south, from the Niger Delta, that is now in this role as president, I think is seen as really a welcome step by many. Clearly there are many pitfalls ahead. You have the big issue for Nigeria in terms of oil and oil extraction, and really early on, Jonathan Goodluck essentially went forward and met with the big oil companies and sent out a message that all will continue as is, status quo will remain in Nigeria in terms of the oil extraction. You have some signs from those in the Niger Delta that though they welcome one of their own at the helm, that there really is concern that there cannot be business as usual, that it has not brought the level of development needed for the Niger Delta nor for much of Nigeria. So there are high expectations still. Remember, Nigeria this year celebrates its 50th anniversary, 50 years after independence. High expectations as to where the country should be now in terms of its state and its development. So core concerns, electricity is a big one that have to be met before any president can gain the level of legitimacy and credibility that the people demand.
Yeah, she was mentioning about high expectation, and I accept that it is right that for the country to expect a lot of things from the new acting president. But I think basically what we are hoping we could see inside of a 7-point agenda that the government under when he was a vice president had, there is need for trimming down of the 7-point agenda. I think there are 3 basic things that we will want to see, and an action that will be taken, if possible, taken without delay. Number 1 is the process of the electoral reform. And we all agree in the country that for us to have a free and fair election, reform must be done. I'm not saying that electricity is not necessary, but the fundamental issue right now is for us to get the base right. The foundation of any democracy is an election that is free and fair, which is what the electoral reform under the committee headed by the former Chief Justice of Nigeria, Mohammed Uwais, have put forward. Let us see him do something about it immediately. Number 2 is the teeming unemployment of youth. Over 90 million under the age of 25 is not good news. I think something could be done locally, something could be done on a state level, and something could be done on a national level creatively. And there are people that have great ideas within the system and outside that could try to close this gap and see how that could help in the issues of security and freedom within the country. I think that's number 2, unemployment.
Okay, well, let me ask
Number 3, and finally, is the corruption.
Yeah.
I mean, something has to be done about the corrupt situation.
Okay, I want to get to
action.
Okay, Musa Ibrahim, I want to get to corruption in a moment, but let me ask you this. What about the differences between the Muslims in the north and the Christians in the south? I mean, we saw that most graphically very recently in the violence that took place in the north.
There are differences, but let me say with respect, it is true, but some of these differences are being heightened within either the media. What we want to see more from our leaders and our media is the possibility to look for common ground, which is what is missing. We have challenges between the Christian north, the Christian south and the Muslim north. But yet, if you look very closely, there are a lot of things that have brought us together in the past to be able to unite. And my sense of it is that the differences will not help us right now because we are on a threshold of moving in, and we can't look back. We just have to look forward and move the process forward. And I believe that having the acting president right now should have the support of every Nigerian.
Okay,
what we want is justice and progress in the country, not where you belong to, what religion you belong to. This is an additional...
Let me put that issue to Mira Woods here with me in the studio. A deep divide, as Umaru Ibrahim has conceded, between the Muslim North and Christian South. Can that divide be bridged? I mean, we've seen instances where Islamic law has been imposed in some states in the north, and that has rather entrenched the differences rather than bridge them, haven't they?
Yes, but clearly what you see is both North and South coming together to say when you have extrajudicial killings of young kids, essentially, you know, unarmed civilians. Some put the number as high as 1,000 innocent civilians that may have been killed over these last few weeks. I think what you have, thanks to Al Jazeera, is now documented evidence of atrocities that both North and South can clamor strongly against, to say that there must be a different way, that justice must be upheld. Whether it's the police or the military and all their backers, there has to be accountability here. And I think this could create an opportunity, just as you see women, Muslim women protesting, you know, demanding peace. There are opportunities to bridge divides, to be able to bring forward a new way that actually puts rule of law, puts justice, and puts accountability above all else.
What does Goodluck Jonathan bring to the table? He does enjoy the confidence of those in the South. He's from there and, of course, has their support. But will he be treated with some suspicion by those in the North now?
Well, I think that's a complicated situation. I think clearly it will take reaching out to both sides, not only being a leader from the South, a Christian leader, but recognizing that he is now a leader for all of Nigeria and being one to kind of bridge those divides. I think clearly there are opportunities when you come from a region that's been so marginalized, so neglected in the political process, in the economic process as well. You can represent those marginalized groups in a way that many others cannot. So I think there are opportunities that could be seized upon to be a bridge builder, to hold the country together in a way that's positive for the future.
Musa Ibrahim, do you believe that Goodluck Jonathan will remain the president, or will he just serve in some caretaker capacity? I mean, there's many people asking questions about his path to the presidency.
Yeah, I was reading about his path to the presidency right from his youth recently, which is quite interesting.
Well, they say he lives up to his name. He happens to be in the right place at the right time.
Come to think of it. But I guess the fact is that he comes to the presidency, I hope, with a little bit of a clean slate on one hand, but on the other hand, he comes with a burden. There is a feeling, which may be rightly so, that this is a time for the North to be part of moving the country forward. And of course, the South hasn't had opportunity before now. And so you see this divide within the country. But let me say two things here. He has a goodwill of the entire nation. This goodwill will be based on the fact that we see positive action in the next few weeks. He cannot afford to delay on certain fundamental issues that we need to see positive action of leadership and governorship. And Amira spoke about good governance and justice and rule of law. I guess above all and fundamentally, we want to feel a sense of fundamental human right in the country, that people have that sense that they do have a right, and those rights matters. And I believe he is in a position to be able to position himself right now. Will he stay long? There are a few cases on the court going on, as you know, and rightly you pointed out, Wole Soyinka and a group are still protesting. We want the court to be active in making pronouncement about what is the input of Section 144 or 145 of the Nigerian Constitution. So that extent, I believe that the country has what it takes to solve its own problem.
Okay.
We need the support of the international community. We need the support of the United States, the European Union, the African Union, without a doubt.
Okay,
but
Mr.
we
Ibrahim,
should also believe that there are people within that could help.
Well, thank you. We're going to have to take a short break right now. We'll have more of our discussion in a moment. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Welcome back. We're looking at the challenges facing Nigeria after its parliament voted to name Goodluck Jonathan as acting president. The move came last week after a 4-month absence by the country's elected president, Umaru Yar'Adua. With me are Ribadu, the former head of Nigeria's Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, Hawa Ibrahim, a Nigerian attorney and human rights advocate, and Amira Woods from the Institute for Policy Studies. Let's get right back to the questions, and I want to start with you, Nuhu Ribadu. You used to be the head of the anti-corruption unit in Nigeria. Now, some of your investigations went right up to the top. How bad is corruption in Nigeria? We just heard Hillary Clinton last month describe it as unbelievable.
Well, it's unfortunate, it's tragic, it's very bad. And indeed, what is happening today in Nigeria itself is a manifestation of the corruption we are talking about. What is corruption? It means simply abuse of office or misuse of authority. We have ended up in a situation where leadership refuse to respect the law, refuse to follow the constitution, refuse to go by what the National Assembly is saying. Elders of the country, it's tragic. Apart from just taking money, taking the resources of the country, it's also abuse of office, not doing things properly and correctly and according to the law. Sadly, this is the case of our own country. Unfortunate, that is the case.
Is that going to change under the new president, the acting president?
It is, and I believe that God is on the side of Nigeria. What is happening today in Nigeria is just literally intervention of God, in the sense that maybe giving us a chance for us to start afresh. And I think that we should really be proud of ourselves as Nigerians. We have shown that we could do things properly and correctly, even though we are faced with challenges of failed leadership, of inappropriate people who have been in control of our own affairs. But we have rose to the whole challenge. And today, the National Assembly have done the right thing. People are saying, no, we could not just continue the way we are going. It's time for us to start doing the right thing. And I believe that what the direction we are going today, and I think for the first time, maybe for a long period of time, we are getting it right, going by the law, doing things properly and correctly. And the leadership that is taking over today is doing it according to the law, to the constitution. And I think maybe, as we have witnessed in the last few weeks, that things are changing in Nigeria. We've seen the elections that took place in Anambra State for the first time, for a long period of time.
Okay, let me
saying yes, maybe we are getting it right.
We've just got an email on this very issue from Musa Ibrahim, and he asks, what would Mr. Nuhu do if he were to return to office as Nigeria's Economic and Financial Crimes Commission chief today? Firstly, let me ask you, are you confident that you will be allowed back into the country at some point?
Well, I'm a Nigerian. I will go back to my country. Sadly, I've been out. Those who mess up the country insisted on throwing out every person who tried to do what is right for the country. But change has come to Nigeria. And I'm not saying that I'm going to go back to that job. No, certainly no. But I should be part of whatever that is going to help to get our country back on track. And in the last 3 years,
I just wanted to add, Nuhu, if Nuhu can hear me,
we've seen bad things,
Nigerians want you to go back to your work.
Nigeria in the last 3 years. There's so much to be done, and I believe every Nigerian, not just Nuhu Ribadu, all of us will just have to get back and start doing the work of getting us back on track.
Okay, let's
Few people, unfortunately, did what they like with us. They mess us up. They turn things upside down. The little things that we achieve in terms of progress,
Mr. Ribadu,
and development,
Mr. Ribadu,
getting back our own image and reputation.
I just want to go.
Made a mess of it, and there are people who somehow betrayed.
Mr. Ribadu, thank you. Hawa Ibrahim, you were going to say something.
Yeah, I wanted, if he was hearing me, I wanted to say Nigeria needs him to get back to his job. He was doing a great job. He took a break. Of course, corruption is a serious issue that eats into our system like a cancer. Unless something is done, and it's not leadership only, it's followership. I believe that if the followership, the masses of the country will rise to not celebrate corruption, to not celebrate somebody that has been elected to office today on the platter of nothing and he has convoy of cars coming to his village. Do not celebrate it. Do not celebrate anybody that will come and show off wealth. Do not celebrate anybody that will come and throw money into the air because he is in government position. Do not celebrate it. Let us all rise to fight it. I think government can play a very important role. But the population, the grassroots, the people in Nigeria must rise to the task to say, no, enough is enough. We need a country that is free of corruption. We may not be able to achieve it during our lifetime, but it doesn't hurt to start something.
Okay, let's
against corruption.
Okay, let's try and get a phone call in very quickly. This is Balgwan calling us from Paris. Go ahead with your question.
Yeah, good evening. Good evening.
Good evening. Go ahead.
Yeah, thanks for having me. In the first place, I want to thank Ribadu for the job well done, because he did a very great job, and millions of Nigeria are really satisfied with his job. But it's just that Nigeria is just the government is just, they didn't understand themselves.
Okay, Balogun, what is your question?
My question is, I don't have a question. I just want advice for Jonathan.
Okay.
I just want to tell Jonathan that he should drop the 7-point agenda of former President Yar'Adua. He should pick up only 4. He should work on infrastructure, energy, security, and job creation. And I thank you very much as well, Riz Khan, for giving me an opportunity to come on the program. Ribadu, I'm proud of you. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much. Umaru Woods, I'm going to give you the last word. Just looking to the future, we have 40 seconds left. Will Nigeria, you think, remain a single entity?
Nigeria will remain a single entity. It must. It is a strong engine for all of Africa. Clearly, you need not business as usual, but a change in terms of first how the oil companies are managing the affairs in Nigeria. Too often they've been playing a role not only in the corruption but in the political process in Nigeria. That must end. The interests of the Nigerian people must be put first. Secondly, international actors fueling Nigeria with weapons on both sides often. That must end. The flow of weapons must end immediately. I think there is an opportunity here to really wish good luck to the new leader and to put things in a new path.
Right, we're going to have to end it there. Umaru Woods, Hawa Ibrahim and Nuhu Ribadu, thank you for joining us, and thank you for being with us. Remember, you can follow the show on Facebook and see what we're up to there. You can give us your feedback on the show and post your questions and comments. On the next show, the ongoing turmoil over Iran. US Secretary of State Hillary Clinton says Tehran is moving towards a military dictatorship as Western nations turn up the pressure over its nuclear program. How will Iran respond? Make sure to tune in for that. See you next time.